We're going to take you through the process of making set honey. Most of the honey that we produce when it comes off the hive is of course a runny style of honey, but all honey will eventually, after about 3 months, set and go into a crystallized state, which doesn't really change its properties, and it tastes exactly the same, and some people actually enjoy crystallized honey rather than the runny honey. But you can purchase in the supermarket a set honey, which is very similar to a creamed honey, but it's not as soft or smooth as a creamed honey. So what we're going to do is take you through the process of making creamed honey. So first of all, let's look at the jar, or one of the jars we're going to use. We'll just take it off and have a look inside, and you'll see that this set honey is very hard, and the structure of that is very crystalline. So what we will do now is we need to break those crystals down to get the water content mixed again back into the honey itself, because as it's crystallized, the water is separated and gone into crystals, about 10% of it. I've just tasted it and it's very crystallized. If you put it on the tongue, you'll just feel the crystals, very sort of coarse texture. The taste is beautiful, but obviously it's going to need some working on, and we'll have to start pounding away now with the pestle and mortar. So we've now been going at it for about 5 minutes, and as you can see from what's in here, how the colour has now changed from the jar, and it looks really very creamy, and it's starting to break down nicely. So if we just look there, you can just see how the crystals are breaking down, but there are still crystals in there, and that's after about 5 minutes. So I think we've got about another 30 minutes to go before we get it to how we really want it to be. Now we've just been doing this for about 40 minutes now, and if you look as we turn the pestle around, how smooth the honey is. Can you see it running off the pestle there? So much smoother, and nearly all the crystals have gone. There might be just 1 or 2 left. We might have to do it just a little bit longer once we've got some more elbow grease. So we've now been doing this for about an hour, and as you can see now, the texture is just like cream. Very, very smooth cream, and that's exactly where we want it to be. And now what our next process will be to weigh this out so we know exactly how much we've actually created. Because the most amazing thing about this honey, to make creamed honey, we now have to mix runny honey with this creamed honey, and we mix a 10% mix, so 1 part in 10 has to be creamed and the other parts will be the runny honey. So we've now put the honey into the pot, and checking on the scale weight, we have a weight of 4 ounces. So now what we can do, doing our 1 to 10 calculation, we can work out exactly how much runny honey we can add to the pot. And now we're going to put 2 pounds 4 ounces on the mark by adding the honey out of our strained honey. So here we go. So the next process is to now blend the 2 honeys together by just stirring it around until they've both thoroughly mixed together. You can see it looks like the colour of fudge, but it's beautiful and smooth. Now what we have to do now is put the lid on this and leave it for 2 weeks, and then after 2 weeks that will have now creamed just like the honey we were working on. So what we can do then is we can now mix that in 2 weeks time with 9 times the amount of honey, and it'll turn that into creamed honey. So here we are, we've mixed the honey together and it's now completely ready, and you can see how creamy it's gone, and the final process now will be to jar it up ready for you. So here is the honey, our normal honey that we've made this year. This is the spring honey, which some of you already tried, which has got a lovely nutty malty flavour. And here's the result of our creamed honey that we've finished now. You can see the difference in colour just about between the two. It isn't exactly set, it's still liquid in liquid form, but it's extremely smooth and it's absolutely ideal to spread on bread. So that's why there was an excuse to make some demi baguettes today and to sample it first hand for you. So I'm making the dough and about to mould it out of the pan and make 4 baguettes today. Well, now that they're risen, I'm going to put them in the oven. 20 minutes later, they're ready. They're looking absolutely gorgeous. Can't wait for them to cool down. Lovely, smooth, creamed honey. Let's coat it on liberally on both pieces. It's got a very, very smooth texture, beautiful on toast as well, but again, demi baguettes today. And there we are, let's have a sample. And Laura as well. Oh, absolutely delicious. So there it is, creamed honey. Takes a long, long time to make, but worthwhile in the end.